Hi everyone, this is Sandeep here, and in today's tutorial we're going to work on a basic, very basic shape on of a flat drawing. So we'll try to draw a bodice and add few stitch lines, and then maybe work on it on few basic levels. In the next video, we'll also work on something which would be of, let's say, a hanger appeal kind of a flat drawing. That'll be our second video. So let's start with the first video, and here we start with the file new, and this is the file new new document window where you can what I'll be selecting right now is a basic A4 sheet or A3, whatever you can choose. And let's get started from here. So I'm going to name it as basic flat drawing. As you can see, this is your artboard. So I'm assuming that you already know the pen tool, and you know how it works. It's a little sticky kind of a tool, but you'll have to always actually try it your hands on, and only then you'll be able to understand its pros and cons. So yeah, so let's begin. I'm going to start from the shoulder point. You can start from anywhere you like. So the shoulder point, and then on the, let's say, the center front of the neck, I'm going to use the shift key so that I have this alignment as either perfectly horizontal or perfectly 45 degrees or vertical. So it gives me a good alignment here. So shift key to give me this 90 degree. As you know, on a pattern you always need a 90 degree on this little area. Now what I'll do is I'm going to click on this anchor point so that I can kill this curve handle, so that I get a pointed corner, and then I can take a vertical line down there. So I'm going to click this. So now you can see that the curve handle is gone, and from here I'm just going to press shift again. So let's say about this much, and then the hem, and let's say a little curve here, inwards and outwards. Let's say about this much, and there and there. Okay, so this is almost the shape that I was thinking I want. Now remember to use a few keyboard shortcuts. Always use your left hand on keyboard. That's really important. So as you know, if you use the space bar, and I've pressed the space bar, you can see the hand, I can move around. So this is how you're going to use to navigate. We're not going to use these tabs. These are not supposed to be used. If you want to be faster at work, if you want to be efficient, and then you want to finish your work quickly, use the space bar. To zoom in and zoom out, command plus control or control plus, and you can zoom in and zoom out. Remember that when you're working on a good quality work, you always should zoom in and work so that you get your lines clear and your points, everything perfectly done. Now what I'm going to do next is I want to copy this armhole. So what I'll do, I'll just select from the outside. I'll click and drag and make a selection. So if you see that this anchor point is selected, but not these, because these are white, so these are not selected. The blue one is selected, and I'm going to press Control C and Control F. Remember, Control F for it's going to paste right at the same place and in front. So, and if I use the arrow button, I'm just going to drag it outside. So if you can see the curve has been copied. separately. Now I can what I can do is take the pen tool and join the points from there. So as I mentioned in the beginning, it's going to be a very basic kind of a shape. So I'm just going to take a few straight lines to just connect, and then my sleeve is done, and which is actually matching with the armhole. So this is how you can actually work on it. Now do the same. As if you remember, I've already copied it, so Control C is done on the armhole. But anyways, let's forget that. And now again, what I'll do is I'll just hover around this curve and I'll find the anchor. So this is the anchor point, which means the lines which is on both sides of the anchor point is selected. So again, Control C, Control F, and then I just move it a little to the left. Now what is happening, there is this gap. This is because there's a white fill on this. How do you remove the white fill? You go to this fill box and just click on none. So your fill is gone, and now it is all just only lines. Now with the white arrow, just pull it down and pull it down from here so that you get a little parallel kind of this thing line. Now select and go to Window, Stroke. So there you get stroke. You can see the shortcut is Command F10, or for Windows it will be Control F10. And this is your stroke panel. What you can do now is just click on the dash, and then you can give it a value. So a good standard value would be 3, the dash point, and then gap you can have it 1 or 2, whatever you like. I prefer to keep it 1, so that's what you get. Let's say if it was 2, then 2 would become somewhat like this. So this is also fine for me. I'm cool with both. So that becomes more or less the most basic flat drawing. Now you can even copy the sleeve hem and Control C, Control F. I'm going to move it with the arrow buttons, and let's say I want it there. Now if you ever want to copy, so there's this stitch line which is already there, and if you want to copy the same property of an existing vector, what you can do is you can select your vector and you have this eyedropper, this one, or you can just press I. If you see, the shortcut is I, eyedropper tool, I. So you'll get this little icon, and then you can just click on an existing vector and it'll copy the same character. So there you go. You have this flat unfold, like half of it done. While you're creating this thing, if you feel that the proportion is somewhat not really right, you can also adjust them, just by selecting with the white arrow. Maybe you can, so if you can see, I've made this box. Whatever anchor points that comes in this box is going to be selected. So if you see, these blue ones are all selected while these white ones are not selected. This is not selected. The blue ones are selected. Now just use the arrow button. I'm just going to use the arrow button here so that my alignment is fine. So I'm just moving I'm just moving horizontally to the left, and I don't know, maybe I'm just going to take the shoulder a little there, right? So this is something that I am looking for at the moment. Now from here, what you can also do is the next thing that most of us are curious to do is make another copy on the left. So the next tool is called Reflect. You'll find it on this panel. So I forgot to tell you, most of these tools in the toolbar, they have these little arrows, if you can see. So what it means is if you click and hold, you will have all these extra options there. Similarly, on the pen tool, you have these pen minus plus. We'll discuss on that later. So yeah, on this icon that you can see, if you click, you'll find rotate and reflect. So your tool at the moment is reflect, and again you got to double click there, and then vertical, yes, vertical axis. And even if you want to do a preview, it'll show you this is what happens. So just say copy. So when you copy, you get another set of copy. Now what I'm going to do is, now be very careful at this. Lots of times you'll miss out on moving all of them all together. So what you should generally do is find an anchor point. Just click on an anchor, and then just press shift so that you are perfectly moving to the left. Or you can just use the arrow buttons, but that's how I do it. What happens is, let's say you this was the selection, and you, I don't know, you selected here. Oh, it works. Or maybe you selected here, it still works fine. But sometimes what happens is you miss out. Sometimes just the sleeve carries off, and then you miss out on that. So the best way is to, just click on an anchor and then just press shift, and you can move around. So this is what I've done. So that's how you get a copy. Now you have a choice. You either want a center front line. So if I move it with the arrow button, you can have, okay, if you want, you can just group this at the moment, Control G or Command G on Mac. Yeah. Now you have it. You have an option if you want to keep a center front line here. Okay, it's fine. But what if, okay, and if you want an overlap, you can always give an overlap. So the overlap will somewhat look like this. If you can see this blue line is the center front of this bodice. Now if you want to, let's say, get rid of the center front and you want to blend in both of them together, what you can do is you can now go to Window, Pathfinder, which is already open for me. If this is ticked, it is open for me. So this is the Pathfinder box. Now what Pathfinder does is it has lots of options where you can tweak and you can play around with basic vectors. For example, let's say you have all of these shapes here. Okay, so what you can do is you select all of them, and when I press divide, it's supposed to be unite. So see what happens. So it becomes a cloud. Now, so it's basically uniting all of the vectors which are overlapping over each other. It becomes one. Now let's try the second function. I want to, let's say, make a rectangle over it. So what happens is it crops off the overlapping area like that. So you have a flat cloud, So similarly, so you just select the two bodice areas. Okay, at this moment we need to ungroup them so that only the two are selected, and then just click on unite. Now what happened? I missed out on the stitch line here. Most of the times you'll face this. What has happened? It's nothing. It's just that you just have to send it to back. So how do you send it to back? Just the way you do on PowerPoint. Arrange and send to back. Remember, send to back, not backwards. Send to back, and then you get this here. So and then maybe you can add, just similarly you can copy this bottom line, Control C, Control F, and press I, and you just click over it, and you get your basic, very basic flat drawing. Maybe you can now try with an exercise.